Today on the Rockbridge Report, we go live to the new site of the military contractor that's bringing manufacturing jobs to Rockbridge County. Then, you might be able to get medical marijuana in Virginia before long. Also, it's shaping up to be a rainy weekend in the county. We'll show you when you can expect to see the sun out again. And the major snack corporation whose new product has people accusing them of gender discrimination. All that and more coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Faith Isbell.
And I'm Catherine Young. Republican and Democratic leaders in the United States Senate brokered a budget agreement last night that could prevent a government shutdown. But fundamental disagreements on the topics of military and immigration spending could cause trouble going forward. CNN's Jim Acosta reports.
With the government on the brink of another shutdown, something almost unthinkable has happened in Washington. A bipartisan agreement in the Senate to keep the lights on.
The compromise we've reached will ensure that for the first time in years, our armed forces will have more of the resources they need to keep America safe.
After months of fiscal brinkmanship, this budget deal is the first real sprout of bipartisanship.
But there's bipartisan trouble in the House, where Democrats want a commitment for a vote to protect the undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children, known as the Dreamers, from deportation.
Our dreamers hang in limbo with a cruel cloud of fear and uncertainty above them. The Republican moral cowardice must end.
And GOP fiscal hawks are outraged that the Senate deal will balloon the deficit.
We didn't campaign on growing government, so this is not consistent with what we told the voters, and I would argue not even close to being consistent with what they said in the 2016 elections.
The agreement would allocate $300 billion to the Pentagon and domestic spending over the next 2 years, but it still has to make it through the House of Representatives. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi delivered a record-breaking 8-hour speech there yesterday, in which she asserted that Democrats would not support the bill unless it made new provisions for Dreamers.
The opening ceremonies of the 2018 Winter Olympics won't take place until 6 a.m. tomorrow, but the games officially began last night in Pyeongchang, South Korea, with the sport of mixed doubles curling making its Olympic debut. The historic new game featured a match between a pair of siblings from the U.S. and a husband and wife duo from Russia. All 168 Russian athletes at the Games are competing in neutral uniforms under the designation Olympic Athletes from Russia, as punishment for doping violations the country committed at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi.
Prosecutors presented evidence for the first time yesterday in the trial of a former Virginia Tech student charged with killing a 13-year-old girl. David Eisenhower is facing murder and abduction charges stemming from the 2016 fatal stabbing of Nicole Lovell, a middle school student from Blacksburg, with whom he allegedly had a relationship. The evidence that was presented included a piece of paper found in Eisenhower's dorm room that had Lovell's address on it, as well as a blood-stained shovel taken from the defendant's car.
The Virginia State Legislature is considering a bill that would create incentives for grocery store expansions in low-income areas with limited access to food. Paige Williams spoke with the experts.
Virginia State Senator Creed Deeds says a bill he supports would use state funds to incentivize private companies to bring stores to places where residents don't have healthy food options.
Lots of times, it's a private sector thing. The grocery stores go where the money can be made. And lots of times some of these neighborhoods, they don't have as much money to spend. And so that's why it's necessary, I guess, prime the pump for there to be public dollars to incentivize private investment.
Rebecca Wilder, the Rockbridge area agent for the United States Department of Agriculture, said there are pockets of food deserts across Rockbridge County. These areas are both low income and more than 10 miles from a nutritious food source.
Look at Goshen, look at Glasgow, look at Rockbridge Baths. I mean, they're all outside of that radius.
Wilder said Glasgow would be a prime candidate for a grocery investment program. The nearest grocer with competitive prices is over 15 miles away. Emma Wallace, clerk at Glasgow Grocery Express, said her small store can't stock fresh food.
We got people come in looking for lemons. Can't keep a lot of lemons on the shelf if you don't have enough people around here that's wanting to buy them.
Senator Deeds says transportation is a huge problem when it comes to food access.
I grew up in Bath County. We always had to drive for a grocery store.
The people here depends on bicycles, neighbors, and whatever else they can find for transportation. We have the Murray River Express, but not that often.
The investment program has been getting bipartisan support in both houses of the state legislature, but Senator Deeds said its effectiveness will be determined by how much money it's allotted. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Paige Williams.
The Virginia House has referred Senate Bill 37 to the Committee for Appropriations.
The expansion of medical marijuana in the state of Virginia appears to be imminent after the Senate unanimously approved a bill on Monday that would allow doctors to prescribe cannabis oil to patients. The passage of the bill came 3 days after the House of Delegates unanimously approved their version of the legislation. Medical marijuana is currently only available to patients in Virginia with intractable epilepsy, but this bill would make the treatment widely available to patients for the first time. The bill now goes to the desk of Governor Ralph Northam, who has previously publicly stated his support for medical marijuana.
Lexington citizens can now track exactly where their tax dollars are going. The city recently launched an online budget tool designed to increase government transparency. City officials have expressed hope that the new tool will inspire residents to become more engaged, especially during the upcoming spring budget season. For more information about the tool, you can check out lexingtonva.budgetviz.com.
Coming up after the break, this year's flu season has been the worst in years. We'll tell you why and what you can do to protect yourself. We'll also take a look at how much rain you can expect over the weekend.
Then we'll take you live to the site of the military contractor that's bringing manufacturing jobs to the county. All that and more when we come back.
Mom.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to take care of you.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you're feeling like this flu season may never end, you're not alone. We asked our reporter Rachel Hicks how this flu season compares to last year's.
Yeah, so this year's flu season is 3 weeks earlier than it was last year and already more severe.
Oh, wow. Why is this year's flu season worse than last year's, both in Virginia and nationally?
Yeah, so it's all because of this string of the flu, H3N2, which is also called type A. And historically, it has had a hard time responding to vaccines. Also, children that were born after 2001 are not immune to it, so it's kind of hard for the younger generation to deal with it as well.
You talked to the State Department of Health, so what do experts say that our viewers can do to avoid getting the flu?
Yeah, so the flu shot isn't really useful in preventing the flu, but it is useful in lessening the symptoms once you do have the flu. Tamiflu is helpful if you catch symptoms 24 to 48 hours after you feel them. The Lexington Health Department is offering flu shots tomorrow, so you can go get one then. And washing your hands and sneezing to your elbow is always helpful. Also staying home from work and school to spare others from getting the flu.
The Lexington Health Department will be offering flu shots at their White Street location from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow. This weather certainly hasn't helped if you're trying to shake the flu. Aspen, when can we expect to see some warmer weather?
Well, it is going to get warmer this weekend, but the rain might keep you indoors anyways. Let's take a look. And now we have a beautiful shot of downtown Fairfield, and we can see we have some clear skies and it's sunny with barely any clouds. Now we have our weather forecast for today. We have a high of 40 and a low of 23 with a barometric pressure of 30.33. Wind speeds are around 8 miles per hour with a 34% humidity. Now we have our regional conditions where everywhere is hugging around the 40s, but Covington is significantly colder with a 27 degrees, and Roanoke is significantly warmer with 44 degrees. Besides them, we have Buena Vista with 40, Lexington with 40, Stanton 39, Charlottesville with 41, and Lynchburg 42. Now we have a radar where we have pretty much no clouds, so it's pretty hard to imagine that we're expecting rain this weekend. Now we have our 5-day forecast where unfortunately the sun we saw today is leaving. Friday we expect some clouds with a high of 49 and a low of 33. Saturday we're expecting rain. It's going to get warmer with a 51 high and a 45 low. Sunday it's warmer still with a high of 55 and a low of 36. Monday the rain will leave with a high of 48 and a low of 35. And Tuesday we have a high of 48 and a low of 38. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Aspen. Looks like I'll need my umbrella a few more days this weekend. Up next, we'll go live to Fairfield to show you how many jobs a new manufacturing company is bringing to Rockbridge County.
And later, how Buena Vista's new Parks and Recreation Director plans to bring some youthful energy to BV. Coming up after this.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 Wonders of the World.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Officials at Dynovis are receiving lots of applications for jobs at its new local plant. The company develops products for the aerospace and defense industry and will begin production next week. Ellie Cosgrove joins us live in Fairfield with an update on the company's progress.
Dynovis announced that they bought this vacant manufacturing facility just last week. I spoke with Director Mike Stolars, and he says the company already has an order to fill within the next 2 months.
So our first priority revolves around a recent purchase order that we received, which revolves around shelter systems. We have a delivery goal of 2 months from today, and so there's a healthy nervousness, with the team, but we're ready to execute.
Production of these shelters will begin next week. Dynovis has received an influx of applications from locals hopeful to work at the Rockbridge County plant. Stolar says they have started the hiring process.
Our 6-month goals, depending on workflow and orders that we receive, could be anywhere from 25 to 50 employees. So we've had a very active response on our website relative to job applications.
Dynovis' 75,000 square foot facility used to house HDT Global, which moved to Buena Vista in 2012. HDT makes folding frame shelters for the military. The manufacturing plant has been mostly unused since HDT's move.
This building's had a few businesses that have come in, a little bit of warehousing activity, but really not a lot going on here. It's been on the market for a good while. We've shown it to a couple of prospects, but just haven't had anybody that really landed at it.
HDT Global moved again in 2016 to Alabama, leaving many in the area without jobs. Lynn Gilbert worked with HDT in Fairfield. She is now helping Dynovis hire locals.
Seeing all the people that I used to work with, and they're so excited to have the plant opening again and have jobs and have the capability to work in an environment that they know and that they're familiar with.
As I mentioned earlier, Dynovis will be focusing on these heavy-duty shelters within the coming weeks, but those aren't the only products that will be shipped out of this manufacturing facility. Dynovis also makes aerostats, which are tethered blimps used for communication and surveillance, as well as search and rescue equipment for the military. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Ellie Cosgrove.
Officials at Dynovis said that employment opportunities are posted on their website at www.dynovis.com.
A Virginia school board voted unanimously yesterday to rename 3 of its elementary schools that are currently named after Confederate leaders. The Petersburg School Board has pledged to rename the schools, which are currently named after A.P. Hill, Robert E. Lee, and Jeb Stuart, by July 1st. Officials said that the decision to retitle was a result of the outcry over the white supremacist rally that took place in Charlottesville last August. Lexington residents will now be able to track their water usage on an online portal. The city engineer, Thomas Wagner, says the new tool will show spikes in water use. Customers will be able to spot leaks and pipe breaks, which will save them money. Wagner, who designed the portal, says he hopes this tool will empower the public to become more conscientious about their water usage. Both Washington and Lee University and Virginia Military Institution, 2 of the portal's biggest users, donated funds to kick off the program.
Today, construction management firm CHA Consulting started the bidding process to upgrade Glasgow's sewage system. Plant official Jeff Rankin says the project will update sewage sites in Glasgow that haven't been fixed since the 1970s. Small towns like Glasgow don't have enough local funds to keep up with leaky water and sewage pipes, but help from the U.S. Department of Agriculture and other state organizations are making the nearly $4 million project possible. Construction is scheduled to start in May and will take about 18 months to complete. The Me Too movement has made its way to Rockbridge area. Hollywood actresses have used the hashtag in recent months to bring awareness to sexual assault and harassment. Locally, a Lexington nonprofit agency is doing just that. Project Horizon staff members are teaching elementary, middle, and high school students the meaning of physical consent. Younger students receive instruction on how to identify sexual abuse, while older students learn about domestic and sexual violence. The presentations are coordinated through local school administrators and are not included as part of the school curriculum on sexual education. That curriculum focuses on abstinence education and is standardized by the Virginia Department of Education. School systems in Virginia have the option to teach physical consent as a part of the curriculum, but local schools haven't chosen to do so.
Coming up next, spring sports season is right around the corner. We'll have your local sports recap for the week when we come back.
And later, why one snack company's new product has people accusing them of gender discrimination. We'll tell you the details after the break.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
A college student a few months from graduating, 20-year-old Katie Patterson is Buena Vista's new Director of Parks and Recreation. Katie Patterson is graduating early from James Madison University to take over the position. As Olivia Hewitt reports, Patterson said that although Buena Vista faces some challenges, she can't wait to get started.
Katie Patterson still has a semester left at James Madison University, but she has already started working part-time as Buena Vista's Director of Parks and Recreation.
I have a lot of bright, new, fresh ideas that might not be how they've been.
Patterson is 20 years old and grew up in Buena Vista and will take over full-time in May. She is graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Sport and Recreation Management.
I'm definitely nervous and a little bit anxious just because I am so young and I don't want people thinking that that's a reason that, I can't do my job.
Kim Austin was born and raised in Buena Vista and has volunteered at the Glenmurray Park for over 30 years.
There will be some who might question her youth and her inexperience. There will be naturally a sense of, she doesn't really have the experience, but everybody has to start somewhere. And what a great opportunity for us that we have somebody who loves Buena Vista.
Patterson is commuting to and from Buena Vista to work with other employees and prepare to take on the full-time role in May. The previous director, Edith Kretsch, held the role for less than a year.
It's all like a team effort. You can say I'm the director, but really I'm just the one who puts the pieces in place.
Patterson says she wants to create opportunities for families to enjoy Buena Vista's outdoors. Her long-term goal is to bring back the Little League Baseball program. To her, Buena Vista is all about its families.
I like to see more for the young kids, teenagers, a lot more activity going on for them to keep them out of trouble.
Patterson will oversee all of Buena Vista's parks, including the 600-acre Glenmurray Park.
I'm experienced for my age, but I still have a lot of learning to do.
When Patterson takes over, she wants to focus on the Glenmurray Park and its pool. She said she will take the first year to learn everything there is to know about the parks. From the Rockbridge Report, I'm Olivia Hewitt.
When Patterson takes over, she wants to focus on Glenmurray Park and its pool. She says she plans on using her first year in the position to learn everything there is to know about the parks. So that was quite a game on Sunday, but now that we don't have the Super Bowl to look forward to, what else can we look for?
Well, Major League Baseball's pitchers and catchers are reporting to spring training a week from today. So for baseball fans, the end to a long and controversial offseason is in sight. Back in Lexington, the Rockbridge County girls varsity basketball team fell to Harrisonburg High School 76-31 on Tuesday. The boys team also lost to Harrisonburg 62-52. Spring sports competition at Rockbridge County High School will begin at the start of March. In college sports, the WNL basketball teams both had winning Wednesdays, with the men defeating Shenandoah 83-78 and the women dominating Holland 77-39. The SVU men's basketball team continued a losing season with a 76-62 loss against Christopher Newport on Wednesday. The women's team also fell to the Captains 92-57, but are holding on to a winning season with just 3 games left to play. In Lexington this weekend, VMI will host its Winter Relays track and field meet on Friday and Saturday. 20 teams will compete, including Washington and Lee. On the WNL campus, the Generals wrestling team will host the Centennial Conference Championship on Saturday. WNL is currently ranked 5th in the conference. Spring sports are also gearing up at the collegiate level, with the WNL baseball team playing its season opener at home tomorrow against Averett. Men's lacrosse will open against York on Saturday. That's all for sports this week. Back to you, Faith.
Thanks, James.
Doritos has come under fire this week after an executive suggested that their concept for a cleaner chip with a quieter crunch could be targeted towards women. CNN's Jeannie Moos takes a look at the backlash.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Lady Doritos?
I think I can eat the crunchiest, messiest Dorito I want and enjoy the hell out of it.
Sounds like she has a chip on her shoulder after the CEO of PepsiCo suggested her company was developing chips for her because men eat Doritos differently from women.
And they lick their fingers with great glee.
Cheese. And guys like to tip back the bag. Yeah, men like to be macho with their nachos. While women...
They don't like to crunch too loudly in public. They don't lick their fingers generously.
Tell that to this former Miss Australia.
I definitely lick my fingers after. I love it.
Even a network morning show host couldn't resist.
No, I do not want a silent chip.
No, I love a loud crunch.
Because there's no more appropriate snack for the Me Too era than a chip that tells women to be quiet?
The only quiet chips are stale chips, tweeted model Chrissy Teigen. Read another comment, my generation marched so future generations of women could enjoy Lady Doritos.
Go tell Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony they can finally rest in peace.
Sing it, sister. Though PepsiCo's CEO promised snacks designed and packaged for women would launch soon, the company said, we already have Doritos for women. They're called Doritos. Some men stood up for women's right to crunch.
Just as loudly and obnoxiously as men do.
But there are worse things than eating low-crunch lady chips.
Oh my God, did you just eat that?
Relax.
Axel clipped his toenails in the chip bag. You just ate Axel's toenails. Ah!
Tweeted one crunchy Doritos fan. Can we just get quiet bags instead? Jeannie Moos.
And licking your fingers is cool?
If I'm at home.
CNN, New York.
Buena Vista's Perry McClure High School offers a variety of technology-based classes for its students to take. But about 1/3 of those students in those courses are girls. School officials are asking the State Department of Education to require students to take an Information Technology Fundamentals course before they can graduate. The hope is that female students will be inspired to take more technology classes. You can read the full story on the Rockbridge Report's website. That's it for this edition of the Rockbridge Report.
We'll be back Tuesday at 3:30 with a live news update. Until then, you can find out more coverage at our website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.